My name is Benjamin Akakpo. Welcome on a news desk. Now, the Electoral Commission is today delivering its verdict on the 2020 elections to political parties and other stakeholders. The Commission will brief stakeholders on its assessment of the election, whose credibility was challenged in court by NDC flag bearer John Mahama. The EC is expected to review all the processes before, during, and after the election and glean lessons for the future. Let's cross over now to the Alisa Hotel for that event.
With unity of purpose and with the good Lord firmly on our side, we will rise up to the challenge and we will see the Electoral Commission, our electoral processes, and our next voting day give us new cause to celebrate our own homegrown electoral best practice. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Let peace reign. Thank you very much.
Oh, I think the chairperson deserves another round of applause. Yeah. Good. That was an excellent delivery, and the message has given us a lot of food for thought. We really have a lot to think about, and we're going to do just that today and tomorrow. So let's get ourselves ready for that. At the moment, we want to have a snack break. We'll take a group photograph, and then when we resume, we will go into details. And then we'll start the actual job. So, right. Before we take the break, we will invite a few questions, some clarifications if there need be. Just so that we'll take that before we go for the break. So if you have a question, a contribution, a clarification, just notify us by lifting your hands.
So those are scenes from the Alisa Hotel as the Electoral Commission delivers its verdict, if you like, on what transpired before, during, and after election 2020. It's going down at the Alisa Hotel. We just heard Electoral Commissioner Jean Adukwe Mensah, reading out that script, touting what exactly the gains were in the course of the last election. And you can see some political party representatives, John Bwedu there, General Secretary of the party, in your shot, among other members. Peter McMenu also seated there, among other dignitaries from the political parties. And it is a stakeholders consultative meeting. Well, maybe not necessarily consultative, but of course they have come together as the Electoral Commission delivers its report. Of course, we also know that this is on the back of the court case, the election petition on the back of the 2020 elections, and all of that being factored into this confabulation at the Alisa Hotel. So it is basically stakeholders coming together to deliberate on what transpired in the election in 2020. And of course, this will also offer opportunities for them to map the way forward. Well, we're also going to get more with Kweku Asante, my colleague, who is also standing by. Kweku, if you can hear me, good morning to you.
The Electoral Commission has been giving us an update the 2020 elections. They've been trying to explain, for instance, how the 2020 elections went to their perspectives, and they've been telling us that the Electoral Commission, according to them, the kind of things that it did really went well, and they are very, very confident about the kind of things that they were able to undertake. And so a number of things that they've been telling us. First, Madam Jane Mensah has been recounting the achievements and the successes of the 2020 elections. She has, for instance, been saying that it took the Electoral Commission 6 months to be able to implement all the processes in the lead up to the 2020 elections. They've been saying that during the entire registration process as well as the exhibition, there was not a single case of COVID-19 reported case that was linked directly or indirectly to the voter registration exercise that was undertaken. They've also been saying that they are celebrating the absence of long queues, among other things. They say that they've saved the country $90 million, that is about 522 million Ghana cedis, in the lead up to the processes that characterize the election, and so they are very successful at that. And so they've been saying a lot of good things about the election, but of course, just like any human process, there have been a couple of challenges that the Electoral Commission has been trying to explain to the people, and saying that these are some of the challenges that we think characterize the election, for which reason we need to get proposals to be able to go forward. And currently, I'll run by you some of the proposals that the Electoral Commission has made. But for instance, they say that the death and the violence that characterize the 2020 election isn't something that they want to put on the Electoral Commission. They are saying that that is a fault of the security agencies who, took part in the election, and so that should not be part of something that the Electoral Commission will be taking blame of at all. But I've also been explaining that they are urging the police to be able to speed up the investigations, to be able to unravel all the circumstances around the deaths of 7 people in 5 polling stations or 5 electoral centers around the country. But some of the proposal the Electoral Commission has been making, notable among them, these 3, is that they want to close the polls at 3 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. In the last few elections that we've had, the polls have almost always closed at 5 p.m. The Electoral Commission, before the 2020 election, mooted the idea of closing the polls at 3 p.m., but they could not finalize, they could not get the stakeholders' agreement to be able to close at 3 p.m. But they are again putting this proposal back on the burner for all the stakeholders to consider. They also want an all-year-round exhibition, as well as an all-year-round voter registration, so that they don't have to be doing this periodic voter registration for people who are turning 18 and even people who don't have their cards. But before I hand over back to you in studio, one conspicuous party or stakeholder that is missing in all this stakeholder engagement is the National Democratic Congress. We all know that the National Democratic Congress challenged the outcome of the 2020 election in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, at the end of the trial, found no merit in the case that John Mahama put before the court. But the NDC has since then not been attending to any IPAC meetings. There's been one IPAC meeting since the election petition. There's also been a number of stakeholder engagements that the Electoral Commission has been trying to organize, including this one that the Electoral Commission has organized and has extended invitation to the NDC, while the NDC is not here. Here, the NPP is represented by General Secretary John Bodu, former chairman of the NPP, Mr. McMahon, who was the chairman of the 2020 campaign of the party, as well as their Director of Elections, Evans Simako. But the NDC is nowhere to be found. A number of other stakeholders are here. A number of the political parties that were engaged in the 2020 election are here. Stakeholders, including the police and other civil society organizations, are all here, but the NDC is not here. And so you can take it over from the studio, but the Electoral Commission is giving itself a clean bill of health to say that they really did well in the election, although they admit that there were challenges, notably the death of 7 people in 5 polling stations.
Well, Kwaku Asante is my colleague reporting there from the Alisa Hotel, where there has been this engagement with the Electoral Commission. But from here in Accra, let's cross over to the northern region, where police say they have arrested 3 men they believe are members of an armed robbery and kidnapping syndicate operating there. The 3 were picked up in separate hotels. Now, at a news conference, Regional Police Commander COP Timothy Yosa Bonga said that intelligence had revealed that the 3 had planned to launch armed robbery attacks and kidnappings in several communities in the region.
It was gathered that the suspects were lodging in separate hotels, including Akman Hotel and Last Hotel in Tamale, in preparation to move to Salga, Makango, Bimbala, and Williamsey areas to attack and kidnap people for ransoms. Personnel of the Northern Regional CID raided the two hotels on 13th May 2021 at about 7:11 a.m. and arrested 3 suspects. A search conducted on the suspects revealed the following items. Mohammed Umar had in his possession a machete, 1 mobile phone, and cash of 1,500 Ghana cedis. Yusuf Mohammed had in his possession 3 mobile phones, cash of 1,800, and a mobile money of 5,239 cedis on his Momo wallet. Sanda Mohammed, on the other hand, had in his possession 3 mobile phones and cash of 2,561. Suspects will not explain circumstances under which such monies were obtained. They also refused to lead police to their places of abode for further investigations.
Well, let's take you live now to Tamale and speak to regional correspondent Martina Bugri, who attended that news conference by the police. Martina, now, why are the police so convinced that these 3 men, Mohammed, Sanda, and Yusuf, were in the region to launch attacks?
They said they have intelligence that these 3 are part of that syndicate, and so they've been monitoring them and then following their movement. And so for some time now, they've been going through surveillance, checking where they are, what they are doing. And so at this time, they knew that this was what they were planning to do, and that's how come they visited those hotels, raided the place, and picked the 3. They said there were other people in the hotel, but they specifically moved in for these individuals because they had information that was close on them, and that's why they were picked. Now, they are saying that they believe, having gone through some investigations also, evidence they are eliciting tells them that these 3 are definitely part of the group.
Okay, so I know there's been an appeal of sorts to residents. What's been the response so far?
They are saying that these crimes were done with their faces covered, and so it would be difficult, but they are expecting people to look at some other physical features of these people and come out with information. And so what they are doing now is linking with other regional commands so that they will spread the information and get people to come in. But as we speak now, people have not started giving in information yet, but they are very confident that with the information travel far and wide, they would have people come in, and possibly some people might identify these people.
Well, Martina, thank you for bringing us the latest as far as that development is concerned. Staying on security matters, the Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator, DCOP Ayensu Opare-Addo, retired, has taken on the police there for releasing some members of the Delta Force vigilante group who forcefully removed him from office. Members of the pro-NPP group were claiming they were acting on orders from above last week, and they stormed DCOP Opare-Addo's office to remove him. Although the police arrested the Delta Force members, DCOP Opare-Addo says they were released almost immediately. The Ashanti Regional National Security Coordinator has vowed to take appropriate action following his attempted forceful removal from office by members of the supposedly disbanded pro-NPP vigilante group, Delta Force. Speaking on PM Express Monday, DCOP Ayensu Opare-Addo described the ordeal he went through at the hands of the 7 men who purported to be national security operatives as humiliating.
7 young men came to the office and said that the National Security Coordinator has asked them to bring me to Accra. Then they started struggling with me and they handcuffed me. And I told them that I wanted to go and urinate. And one of them followed me and said, and I asked why he was following me and said, oh, but we are all men. You can, sorry, I can follow you. I said, no. He followed me to the toilet and I urinated and came back to my office. They closed the door, took our phones, and even one of them hit me with an AK-47 rifle.
You were hit with the butt of the AK-47 rifle?
Yes, with the butt of the AK-47 rifle. And I said, what is this? That they say we should bring you to the National Security Headquarters. And I said, I won't go. So when the police picked up, I don't know what should have been done. But if it was in my time, I would detain all of them. But the police never detained them. And they said we should go and come the next day. That's Wednesday. On Wednesday, I went there, and none of the 7 came to the Arena Police Headquarters. I wrote my statement. My secretary, with whom I was in my office, wrote her statement. And one junior officer, Nanso, who was in his office, and that was also locked. The operations room also wrote a statement. So waiting for what would happen.
So they said you should be brought to the National Security Secretariat headquarters in Accra. Did they identify themselves as true operatives of the National Security Secretariat?
They were not the true operators. Well, I knew 4 of them. Mustafa, Staff, Mohammed, Saidu, Kerry, and Atta. I knew 4 of them who had been with me in Kumasi. They were coming to my office. They wanted me to go and do this Galamsey thing with them, and I never did want that to happen. And the other three, I never knew them. But one mentioned his name as Roxing, the leader of the group, and the like.
Well, explaining further, DCOP Opariado said he had been targeted by the group because he had prevented them from engaging in illegal mining activities in the region. And now, security expert Professor Kwesi Enning says the action of vigilante groups in the country amounts to defying the presidential power.
Here we have a second security coordinator with a presidential commission being brutalized, being humiliated, being threatened. And now, this is not just an ordinary individual. This is an officer and a gentleman who is risen through the ranks to the position of a deputy commissioner of police. This is an officer who has served as a regional commander. So what we are seeing, and by mentioning or specifically identifying Delta forces, it's showing you that those who are members of these powerful groups are a law unto themselves, in which the phraseology national security is only used in an ad hoc manner and in an opportunistic manner to clothe themselves for that authority and the power to be able to abuse people's rights and to undermine the authority of the state. We are seeing the beginnings of a monster, of a hydra-headed monster that we need to elevate, and I've said this consistently, we need to elevate this monster to the level of an existential threat to the state. Look, when you defy the orders of the president, routinely, those who defy that must be punished and resisted not by the police force, but by the armed forces. Precisely because by defying a presidential commission or appointee, you challenge the authority of the commander-in-chief. And we can't and we mustn't have that. This is dangerous and it's getting out of hand.
James Agalga is the ranking member of the Defense and the Interior Committee of Parliament, and he says Ghana needs to nip this existential threat in the bud before it explodes.
Vigilantism, in the manner that they manifest
in our day-to-day lives and affairs. Now, today, we have the law well in place. Because we don't have the political will to enforce it, we are back to square one. And so clearly I've been vindicated. So I am not surprised that members of the Delta Force who once beat to pulp the regional, Asante regional security liaison officer now have the guts to repeat the same act. This time around, the victim is a retired DCOP who has been appointed by the president to serve in the same capacity as regional liaison officer. Now, Professor Eni made the point that the president is the commander-in-chief, and so when the president makes an appointment and groups, vigilante groups affiliated to the ruling party defies the president by throwing out of office such an appointee, the matter clearly goes beyond the police and should be dealt with by the army. I think that I agree with Professor Inim. Maybe the military should intervene in a matter like this and deal with the people involved. I mean, it's becoming very alarming, and if care is not taken, well, I don't want to be a prophet of doom, but you know very well that the terrorist groups that are operating in neighboring countries started as vigilante groups. Nobody knows. We don't wish any evil for this country, but where we've gotten to, we need to be very careful.
James Agalga is ranking member of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. On to some child trafficking news now, and hundreds of children are still being used by boat owners for fishing activities on Lake Volta. Unlike roads with police checkpoints, the lake rarely sees police patrols to nip the practice in the bud. But Director of Advocacy at the International Justice Mission, Ghana, Leonard Akon, and other participants at an IJM training for some civil society organizations and senior police officers in the northern region want to change. They are pushing for regular police patrols on Lake Volta to reduce the practice where boat owners use children for hazardous work on the lake.
Two years ago, I joined police and some Navy personnel to Edrakbota, an island community in the Afram Plains. They were on a mission to rescue some children who had been trafficked to the fishing community and engaging in hazardous work on the island. After a long search, one of them was rescued, and he shared his story of torture with me.
On that day, we did not go with them. One of the children was screaming. He had entered the lake to remove the nets. The man he went with left him. He drowned. I lived in the same house with the boy who died. I told him I was scared, but he allayed our fears. He said nothing will happen to us. We cast the net, we paddle the canoe. He usually beats us on the lake with a rope just to get us to work faster. He does not allow us to go out to play, not even football, with our friends.
Many months after that operation, the situation still persists in other fishing communities. Leonard Akon is the Director of Advocacy for the International Justice Mission. He says regular patrols by the police will help reduce the use of children for fishing on Lake Volta. He says there's still a lot of work to be done, but acknowledges that Ghana has made huge progress.
Regards to child trafficking on the water lake, and I've said this again, and I want to raise this issue here again about the need to deploy police patrol boats on the water lake, because if you travel on our roads, you would see police checkpoints, or you see police patrol vehicles. I mean, the essence of that is to enforce the laws. And so I think it's really critical that we look at deploying police patrol boats on the water lake to ensure that no child is being exploited on the lake. They are meant to be in school, they must stay in school, and that they are not being exploited. Children that have been trafficked from their communities, their families, and being exploited in the water lake. I think that deployment of the lake to enforce the laws in the lake is critical.
Monica Neti is a lawyer with the International Justice Mission. She has been talking about some of the challenges in getting people punished for using children for hazardous work on Lake Volta.
One of the very crucial challenges, I would say, is the gathering of evidence, properly getting evidence and presenting this to the courts for prosecution. Another thing I would say is the cultural basis on which we would say that, child trafficking is built in this country. And so because of that, you find that sometimes there's the disparity between, is this a cultural situation of a child moving to help someone, or this is actually trafficking? And so just balancing the two is something that the courts have had to do. State attorneys have had to keep pushing, for proper evidence so that the courts could make a decision on it.
Northern Regional Crime Officer Superintendent Bernard Baba Ananga says more collaboration will be needed to completely eradicate child trafficking on Lake Volta. He says the training organized by IJM will go a long way to help them in their work.
We need a lot in intelligence gathering. We need a lot in identifying the offenders, that is the suspects. We also need to involve the community and the general public in providing information. And as far as investigations are concerned, we need to collaborate with the media groups, the media houses. Other institutions are also needed here to assist one with the other. IJM has.
Yes, so live on News Desk, we take a break. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us on JoyNews Desk. Welcome back. And the Ghana Health Service in the Northeast region says it has begun an investigation into suspected waterborne diseases at the Bombwazio community in the East Mamprasi municipality. The disease is believed to have caused the death of at least 5 people and many others being treated with intestinal infections. The deadly strange disease has been associated with the community's source of drinking water. We now hear from the health service shortly, but first a report by Ilyasu Tanko.
7-year-old Fatima Musa is one of the victims of this suspected waterborne disease. She returned from the Nalirgo Baptist Medical Center weeks ago after a successful intestinal surgery, and her parents say she's in stable condition.
Bima denda pilu ora chini ukwati utila ho pajia mbana.
It started with her suddenly vomiting a yellowish liquid. It was so severe that at a point she could not stand on her feet by herself. We rushed her to the facility at Langbinsi and we were referred to the Baptist Medical Center in Nalirgo. As soon as we arrived, she was taken to see a doctor who examined her and said she drank a contaminated water. So the doctor told us to inform our assemblyman about the situation. This 6-year-old girl, Rukaya Musa, is another victim in the community, also discharged from the Nalirgo hospital days ago. Her mother, Aisha Musa, who was with her at the hospital, spoke to JoyNews. They put a tube through her stomach and brought out lots of yellowish liquid before the surgery. The doctor then told me that the water we drink in our community is harmful. JoyNews in the community gathered that about 5 people so far are believed to have died from the disease since 2019. Yahaya Tani is a wife to one of the disease patients an 80-year-old man who died last month.
He was
complaining of stomach pain and was vomiting as well. So the children took him to hospital, but he died there. The outbreak area is the community of Bombazio, a farming settlement of about 1,000 people located near Langbinsi in the East Mamprosy municipality. With no good road, electricity, health posts, water and sanitation infrastructure, the people are in desperate need of basic amenities. The community has two main water sources, a stream that runs at the outskirts of the community and two boreholes. A third borehole facility, which was to be constructed by this NGO, has since been abandoned. However, people rely on the water from the stream due to all the time very long queues to the borehole water. This pregnant woman has just walked past the borehole heading to collect water from the stream. Because the pipe water is not enough for all of us. We are suffering a lot to get water to drink. We are always at the hospital as our kids, husbands and relatives are getting sick. We are pleading with the government to give us good drinking water, else all of us will die soon. At the stream, dozens more women have abandoned the boreholes and were here with their young girls to collect the water. Kasim Amina is a teenage mother claiming to have lost one of her twins to the waterborne disease few weeks ago. The doctor told me the water we drink is contaminated. She wants authorities to come to their aid with clean drinking water. It is still not clear what could have contaminated the water leading to the deadly outbreak, but JoyNews found evidence of open defecation and other insanitary activities of the residents along the stream. We need the pipes to be situated at the back of our houses. We need it urgently to prevent further death. The assemblyman for the area, Bukari Baba, said he has filed a formal report inviting authorities at the East Mamprosy Municipal Assembly to investigate the outbreak.
The case really escalated this year. Last year, it wasn't like this. They were having it within themselves. Those who went to have that kind of diagnosis, they were having it to themselves. Just this year that it increased and the number has increased. Therefore, they can't hide it again. From what they are saying now, we have more than 15 or 20 people who have diagnosis the same sickness. The one who went the last 2 years, that was 2019, he died. One also said the child died. One child is just by at the back of my house. He also died. They sent him 2 days and then they diagnosed that the sickness was from the intestines. And he died before they could do the operation.
So how many people have died?
They are about 5. One immediate thing I think they should do is to come and then test the water. If really the sickness is from the water, then the second backup, or they will give us a backup system, like getting us a borehole.
Ilyasu Tanko reported.
Well, that is the plight of the members of this community. In response, the East Mamprosy Municipal Health Director, Mark Abugri, says a team has been dispatched to the community to investigate.
I immediately sent my men there to go and find out what the situation is. And they have gone there. I'm yet to receive the report from them. And as part of the investigation process, when I get a report, we'll further make inquiries at the hospital where the people were said to have gone to get the real situation there before we'll be able to know what exactly we are dealing with. So one, I asked them to go and find out whether indeed those cases that were said to have emanated from their community are there. That is number one. And I've also asked them to try and get some information about the cases that we'll use to follow up at the hospital. to go and find out whether indeed they went to hospital and what was the diagnosis. I think that will let us know exactly what we are dealing with when we get the report.
Now, some traders who were affected by a demolition exercise at the Rawlings Park Sunday night are pleading with government to stop the Accra Metropolitan Assembly from evicting them. Now, the traders stormed the AMA offices Monday over claims their stalls had been demolished without prior notice. The exercise is said to have affected about 1,200 petty traders. There's more in this report.
Members of the Petty Traders Association marched up at the AMA office protesting the destruction of their containers on Sunday night.
This is the only job we do to cater for our wives and children. They have destroyed all our items without informing us. And when we came to plead, they are telling us to leave. What else should we do?
About 1,200 petty traders have had their stalls and containers demolished by the AMA here at the Rawlings Park. Now, this park, which was originally demarcated as a parking lot, was encroached by the years by these petty traders. Now, the AMA, according to the PRO of the Petty Traders Association, has demolished these stores due to claims of losing income.
We are the association and we went to the AMA office. We've already write our petition to them, and today we do the follow-up. What they are saying, the place is choked, and the assembly is losing the revenue. So they're supposed to sack everybody from here so that they get a space for the park.
Some traders accuse the AMA of wanting to get rid of them so they could bring their own containers to rent to traders. Their spokesperson, however, says those claims are unsubstantiated.
No, that one is not true. AMA did not say that one to us. It's just a misinformation that people are just saying their own. But AMA did not say such a thing.
The traders nonetheless want government to intervene. I am constantly under the sun with an umbrella over my head. Where will I go if they sack me? Where will my poor children go? We are begging government, have mercy on us. Have mercy. We are begging the president. He was the one who appointed the regional minister. If the MPP does all it can to ensure a clean city, and the NDC comes to rather help the market women, what then is the essence of having a clean city? We have children and we are suffering. This is all we do to take care of them. We are pleading with government to help us. Judith Awachitando, JoyNews.
Well, thank you for staying with us on News Desk. We take a break now for business. Do stay.
Good morning, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Telecoms giant MTN Ghana has backed moves by government to embark on a re-registration of all SIM cards this year. According to the company, this will help reduce fraud cases associated with mobile money transactions. Chief Corporate Services Officer at MTN Ghana, Sam Kranting, spoke to Joy Business at day one of the 5th Ghana CEO Summit being held in Accra.
We at MTN, we have always said, and one of our taglines are that we are leading the delivery of a bold new digital world. And in that effort, customer KYC is important. We're currently working with the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization to roll out re-registration of our subscribers as well as all subscribers. And in that vein, it would help to tackle fraud. We, at the back end, have done several initiatives on our systems. We are continuing to engage with all other stakeholders to be able to continue fighting this fraud. And in terms of digital fraud, it is not unique to Ghana. It happens everywhere that the economy has been digitized. But then we as operators are doing our part with other stakeholders to ensure that we keep abreast and to make sure customers are protected, and we would be able to curb the fraud activities of those out there. And the KYC would go a long way to help in that regard.
Now, ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development has lent $50 million to the Consolidated Bank of Ghana. This follows the line of credit agreements signed by both banks. According to the president of EBID, Dr. George Ajekum Donko, this is a step to strengthen ties with countries under the body. There's more in this report.
ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development has signed a line of credit agreement with the Consolidated Bank of Ghana. The loan facility of $50 million is to support contractors who undertake construction of roads in Ghana. Speaking at the signing ceremony, President of IBID, Dr. George Ajekum Donko, indicated that road infrastructure is key in socio-economic development of a country, hence his outfit's investment in the sector.
I am very happy that today we are signing this historic agreement where we are going to make available to CBG an amount of $50 million. To be honest with you, the money even has been put on placement for quite a long time. We are very happy to collaborate with CBG because the new model that we are contemplating is that we want to now give money to banks and the corporate institutions for on lending. We are trying not to go straight to individual promoters because of the experiences that we have had in the past. So this fund, as we are going to disburse, is going to support your expansion project in terms of also encouraging the road infrastructure in this country. What I'm trying to say is that we are also going to on-lend to the contractors who are also undertaking various roads projects in Ghana. This is very, very important because if you look at the government strategic plan, road infrastructure is key, and we know we know it as a driver to economic and the socio-economic development in our community.
Managing Director of the Consolidated Bank of Ghana, Daniel Addo, assures that the interest rates on the loan will be favorable to the contractors. According to him, CBG has a reputation of managing risks properly, hence getting the fund.
There's absolutely no doubt that these funds will go into road infrastructure. I believe that IBID chose to collaborate with us because they're very sure that we will do what we say we will do. They also chose to collaborate with us because of the kind of risk management and the kind of an understanding of the environment here. We've had plenty of conversations and discussions with the Ministry of Roads and the Department of Urban Roads. So we're clear on what the uses of this facility are for, and we'll ensure that they're done. We'll do just that. The interest rates will be very competitive and very favorable because we're getting same competitive and favorable rates from IBID, and it's only fair that we pass on those cost savings, if you like, to our customers.
And that's your business update for now. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Up next is sports. Don't go anywhere.